All right, I just want to start today's show by shouting out and showing respect to the family of Dr. John Mayhew, who passed away during the week. For me, I know we've all got stories around about Dr. John Mayhew and his impact on everyone's lives. For me personally, I just wanted to say a real big loss, and somebody who I got to spend some time with and was nothing but a true, warm, awesome human being, and he will be truly missed. That's my take for Dr. John Mayhew.
Yeah, beautifully said, Matua. I'll extend that. Now, Doc, he was my doc for over half of my career, so I grew a great relationship with him, like a heap of athletes have throughout New Zealand in particular. And hearing the news break, just saddened and deeply gutted. So just thoughts out to his family. He's just one of the greats, a really great human, someone who, at some of my lowest points, instilled a bit of confidence and just self-belief that I would be bouncing back from whatever I was going through. So I'll never forget it. Thoughts out to Doc Mayhew's family.
All right, let's start the show.
Play on.
Round 2.
My mate to the left here. One heck of a career you've had, man.
To be able to be in this space, announce my retirement.
Okay, let's go.
LeBron James, a shot in history.
And the Panthers have done it again. 4 premierships in a row.
A black wave pouring through Paris 2024. Back to black. New Zealand champions.
Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone!
6 of the best from Auckland FC.
We need a halfback. I'm not playing.
I'm in, baby! I'm in!
Play on. What's up, family? We are back for another show of Play On. Shout out to Frank. Shout out to Betcha for allowing us to have another show. Matua Marc is in the country with me right now. Shaun Johnson is in the 305. He's in Miami still. What up,
Mr.
man?
Worldwide. Yeah. Oh, there we go.
It's a party.
Celebrations.
It is a party. We're going to talk more about Miami very shortly. But, Marc, what do we got on the show today?
Yeah, we've got a busy old show today. We're going to do our Betcha reviews, the matchups for this week. Currently leading the season so far, it is Brook.
This ain't even close.
Yeah, everyone got excited, Shaun, for your comeback when you got the sweep, but alas, it was back to
Man, you woke up the dragon, brother.
You did indeed. So we'll go through those, and we've got some special ones, including a bit of golf, a bit of rugby, and of course, some UFC, which is what draws our great Shaun Johnson overseas at the moment, and of course, the Warriors. You can't go past the weekend without the Warriors. Then we're going to do a little bit of Can We Talk, where we've got some things we want to get off our chest around sports and around life in general. And then, of course, we'll finish it all up with a hurrah from Miami, and Shaun can tell us what he's been up to. But Brook,
What are you doing, lad? What's going on? What's the last 48 hours been like for you?
Oh, boys, like I'm just enjoying myself. It's just nice to take it all in and like still pinching myself the fact that I'm over here for work. It's not beyond me. It's still very much in my forefront of my mind that like this is work right now. Similar to when we got to go to Vegas. Remember those? Like how we were just like, boys, look at what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's another one of those for me. So I'm certainly so appreciative of this opportunity, and I'm taking it all. I'm learning. Like I'm interviewing fighters. I'm understanding how conversations flow and what to pick up on. So like there's so many things and that I'm taking on board, but I'm loving it.
hey, what can I ask about the jumping to the media side of things and asking an athlete? Yeah, you would remember that it was a part of your job as an athlete. But do you sense when you're talking to all the fighters that they're all into it, or it's part of their job that they have to be answering these questions?
No, and it's funny because you can separate the two different types. Like, even over the short space of a couple of days, I realized quickly, like, man, I hope I was the type that made the person talking to me feel very, like, warm about what he was doing.
I gotta be honest with you, I don't think you were.
Shaun, you
Shaun,
have
you
can ask somebody who was working at Radio Sport at the time where
Martel, did I always give my time?
Don't lie,
Was I
Mark.
always
Don't lie.
Do you know what I reckon, Shaun? I think for you, you've. I don't know if you even realize this, but there was phases with you. Like you would have. There was times when you were on the up and up, you were incredible, and you were really personable, and it made me feel like an interviewer who was okay. Yes, this is good. I like this. But there were tough times too where you weren't that same person, and that's fine. Like I absolutely got it. Like some of the things that were being said about you, some of the things. So I feel like. no matter how hard you try to make, to be a person who wants to, because ultimately we're doing you a favor as well. We're selling your brand. We're putting you on the camera kind of thing. You just can't help it, I reckon. Life will get in the way.
Well, bro, to put in perspective, these fighters, like they're cutting weight, they're water loading, they're looking like you can see it physically
It's
on
in the
them.
face, eh?
And their ability to still make me feel valued in the conversation, I was just like, man, like, damn, I hope I was that sort of athlete when I was playing, like that's all I took away from it. So it was really cool, but yeah, we'll get into it a little bit more later. Boys, what's happening back home? Tell me, what am I missing out on? What's going on with you two?
You know what you are missing out on, Shaun? You're missing out on watching Brooke limp around the building.
Well, I limp for a good reason, Mark. I'm limping for a good
What's
reason.
happened?
Your boy laced him back up again, my boy.
Yeah.
Last night I got the call. I got, it was like the bat signal went out. I said, oh, okay, I'll answer that.
That's crazy.
I'll answer that. On the way, I had to go and find if I actually had any basketball shoes left. I was rummaging around the house. I was in the garage. I was in the spare room. I finally found some LeBron 13s, put those on, and we went and played. Guys, I'm getting all excited. We went and played the Harbour under 20s, and it took a while for me to find my feet. I ain't gonna lie, but your boy finished with maybe like a 25-point last night. Bro, I was coming off screens.
Yes,
Blah,
my
blah,
boy.
blah, blah. I managed to pull my calf, though, while I was on the bench. I don't know how that happened. Bro, I was sweet.
crazy,
I went
eh?
to the bench, and I pulled my calf, came back on. I mean, we lost, but I had 25. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had a good game. We lost by 2, but
I love that.
your boy is back. I think I won't play ever again. But man, it was good to get back out there. I got no lungs, but it was a scratched an itch. I'll tell you that much for free.
Any other notable names that were that lined up with?
Our average age was 47.
Oh, where?
Yeah, we had some old fellas in there. But Casey Frank, shout out to Casey Frank. He's, former Tall Black, former breaker. That's probably about it. Yeah, probably. About
Okay, Mark, can we get into the show now, please?
Yeah, I feel like
we've had a fair enough.
I
of that,
promise you,
right?
I was coming off scream, blah,
go,
turning in
let's
the
get
air,
it.
blah,
Yeah, let's get into the show. And let's get into our
I was just
Betcha
getting
Match
started
Ups.
telling you about how great I was, but whatever.
And what we do have is the opportunity to be able to get one up on each other again this week. Let's start with matchup number 1, and we're headed over to the Masters Tournament, Augusta National Golf Course. That is over the weekend, of course. It goes for the full weekend. But what we are looking for is, gentlemen, whether it's team tailor-made or not.
So we normally do paper, scissors, rock, and we can't do it because the timing is slightly out. I reckon, Mark, you write a number on a post-it there, and whoever's closest wins.
That's a great way of doing it. All right, so there's a number written on my piece of paper. Shaun, you can go first. What do you think it is? And if it's the closest, that wins.
7.
Brooke?
6.
Brooke, you were up first. It was a 3, and you were closest. I love what you did there. You snookered them out.
What do you mean?
So you get to go first on option number 1, which is, of course, the Masters. We're going with team tailor-made or not. Shaun, you were saying that some of the greatest or the favourites are all sponsored by TaylorMade.
Yeah, so I love this angle that we get to go at, boys. I love that we get to do things a little bit different. So for those of you that are unsure and a little bit confused by what we're doing here, so Team TaylorMade has a handful of golfers and some really good golfers. Probably 3 of the top 5 golfers in the world will be with TaylorMade, okay? But there's a pool of players that sort of span across the other brands. You got the Titleisters, you got the Ping. Like, there's other brands out there that also host a Hoiberg, Strix, and a whole heap of good players, right? So I thought, to save us just following one player over the course of the weekend, it's the Masters, the biggest golf event of the year. How about we choose sides? Are you Team TaylorMade or are you the rest? Now, Team TaylorMade has the likes of Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, Colin Morikawa. Okay, so probably 3 of the favourites, to be fair. But then there's a pool of players outside of that are just as handy. Zalatoris is up there, Justin Thomas, Spaeth. There's heaps, right, across all these other different brands. So, my guy, it's up to you. It's up to you.
What do you play off?
I feel like this is a fairly even pick.
What are you using at the moment? Like, what's your set? What are you
I'm
swinging
Team
with?
TaylorMade, baby.
You are TaylorMade. I'll go the rest then.
Oh,
I'll go the rest. I'll let you have home court advantage on that one. I'll go the rest. I think it's a dark horse. I don't know who it is this year, but I got a dark horse to win it. The Michael Campbell year. No one saw it coming. Bang bang. Yeah. And you're right. There's so many others, so it's not a bad bet to go against the grain.
Ludwig Ullberg is one to watch out for. I feel like this is a fairly even split. Now I know I've got you've gifted me probably the two favourites in Scheffler and Rory, but there's certainly a whole heap of players outside of that group that can win it.
Mark, I'm going to ask a question.
Yes.
I know that's a table card. I understand that, but can I go again or no?
How do you mean?
Like, can I change to TaylorMade?
Can you change it to TaylorMade?
I know I put the card down, but I'm just coming to Your Honor.
And the rules of the casino, once it's been played, it's been played. I
can't believe he tried to do that.
Can I have my money back, please? Can I please? Those chips I just lost, can I? No. Well, we'll have to see. So we've got Brooke going with everyone else and Shaun going Team TaylorMade. In matchup number 2, we have Super Rugby in our mouths at 4:35 p.m. on Saturday. It is the Blues, the Battle of Auckland.
It's on our eyes, not in our mouth.
Blues at $1.16 taking on Moana Pacifica at $4.80. We have seen a massive rise in Moana Pacifica, and we've seen the Blues, who got up against the Hurricanes last week by 1 point. So it's an interesting one. Shaun, what are you picking?
Ooh, damn. I'm gonna go the Blues.
You are going to go the Blues.
Yeah, and really, if I'm being completely honest, I'm going this because we got guys like Paddy Toops, that we gotta back our boy, right? So it's really a family pick, this one. Like, I'm like, I'll never go against one of the boys. So yeah, it's going to be a good game. I think the game's going to be a lot closer than, what is that? $4.80 for Moana?
Yeah,
The disrespect, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's being
going to
played
be a lot closer than that.
It is being played at Eden Park at 4:35, which will be a beautiful afternoon game, and two teams that are very familiar with Eden Park, considering it is Moana Pacific, very much built from Auckland-based players as well.
And, to be fair, like, Moana's going to be up for it. This could be one of those scalps for him that will mean a little bit more than any of the other ones they've had. I think it's like that big brother. We're in your city now.
Yeah, who
Let's
wants
come
to
into your turf. Yeah, and we want to go after your head on your own ground. So it's going to be a good game.
Just a quick one to follow up. Shout out to our man Paddy Toops and our sis Fee. I just had to double check, but they have announced their baby. Their second baby is here. So to those two, we love you very, very much. Palmer now has another sister, but congratulations. I have a little, just on the game, I have a little insider trading knowledge right here. I know some stuff that Shaun doesn't. The only reason I know that is because I was just talking to Jordan. And Jordan's actually about to make his way over to Moana to speak to Moana. And I don't know if you guys know about Jordan, but he grew up as a preacher's child. And when it comes to being able to rev and really give the people what they want, we are the storm! Best believe Moana is going to be up for this game today or on the weekend. So I'm happy that I have Moana with us, with Jordan going over there to just give them that little high five on the booty, just to go. All right,
I'm not gonna lie, Jordan's pretty motivational, so that kind of does scare me.
Yeah,
right? That does scare me.
He looked Artie dead in the eyes. We are the storm. So I'm happy. Yeah, like I get the bit, but
okay.
Little insider trading knowledge there. So Jordan, I need that rev up, my boy.
All right, let's go with matchup number 3, and this is the main event at Eden Park on Saturday night. The Blues versus Moana. It's like a co-main event, but they'll be at 4:35. But at 7:05, it is Super Rugby Opeke final between Blues women and Matatu. And I'll tell you what, this game is going to be closer than most expect.
No,
I'm
it
not
ain't.
gonna put the odds on. It ain't.
No, it ain't.
Well, Brooke, it is your pick, so you get to go.
I got Katie. I call her Katie because she's my friend. Caitlin Vaha called her to score 4 tries. I'm a power man, at heart, but I'm gonna keep it real with you. I got the Blues women to win this and win it heavily.
Why do you do that?
Do what, bro?
You always got to have a little foot in both camps, eh?
Oh, everyone just needs to know where I'm from, brother. You
just back one pick wholeheartedly. Stop doing the Blues, but I'm a power man. No.
The power ain't even playing in this. They're playing the Mutts too. All right, so get with it first, girlfriend. But shout out to the Blues. I got Caitlin to score a whole bunch of tries. I got them to win by a bunch. What I do really like about this, though, as you did point out, Marc, is it's the main game. There's no curtain raiser. Well done, girls.
That is about time.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a cool night out there. Yeah, well done.
And if you get the chance, if you live 5-minute walk to Eden Park and you're not there, you're a disgrace.
I know you're pointing to me. You're
What?
referring to me.
Marc? What, Marc?
That's a great weekend. That's a great Saturday of sport actually coming out of Eden Park. I'd like to watch Blues versus Moana. I think it's going to be an awesome, colourful experience. I feel like it's going to be anyone's going to be there, and then to go into the Opiki final as well would be awesome. And they're just back to back at Eden Park, so there's no excuses.
So I'm Marta too.
You are indeed, Shaun.
Let's go, girls.
Let's go. All right, let's head towards sports matchup number 4, and that is UFC 314. This is where you've got all the insight, Shaun. You've been there all week, and we're looking at the featherweight division, Sunday, 2 p.m., the title for Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez. And Shaun, you've seen both fighters. You've eyeballed them. You know what you're thinking now. Who's going to win that fight?
Oh, boys, this is a scary pick because having stood next to both of them, they've got a certain level of energy that is just like, it's going to be explosive when those two meet, right? Like, you feel it. Like, they are both so dialed in. I really am picking this with my heart. I love the story of Volk. Like, I think Lopez is going to be around for a little while post this fight, where the other side of it, I feel like this is Volk's last chance, like this is his final throw at the stumps, really. That's the energy I'm sensing. And hearing Volk speak, the way he was able to sort of separate himself from the sport, have a little break, spend time with his family, but all the meantime in the back of his mind, still training. But it was, he explained this perfectly. His whole career, everything was based around his training. For the last 12, 18 months, everything's based around his family.
Yeah, nice.
So he's just been able to reset, think about things, like regather himself. And the discipline he's shown, hearing him talk about it, hearing how dialed he is into putting on a show, I am so excited to see him go to work. So I'm going to go with Volk this weekend. And what a story it would be. What a story it will be. Volk reclaiming the belt.
And another great storyline in this is Shaun plays one Black Clash and he uses the saying, last throw at the stumps, which is amazing. Like,
it's there's a few things I'm picking up in media, Marc.
And
it's your cliche throwaway lines.
Get rid of them. Get them out, Leia. Get them out. I have to go with Shaun too. I hope Volk wins. He's like a cousin to CKB. Like Diego Lopez. I think this is Nick's. Help me out. This is his second year in the UFC, so he's like kind of just been here. Volk's been in the arena before. Because it's a different thing when you get that 5-round fight. So I hope Volk wins it. I know I've got to go Diego Lopez, but I hope Volk wins it as well.
Last I checked, they're both 26 fights, different, obviously win-loss categories. I'm pretty sure that was the case. So anyway, that was the win-loss record. But it is very much the old bull taking on the young bull, and it's going to be fireworks. That's 2 p.m. on Sunday. We've got Shaun locking in with Volkanovski, and Brook, you're going to have to go with Lopez on this one.
I got it.
All right, into matchup number 5, and it's the final game of the weekend for you guys and us. NRL Sunday, 4 p.m. It's the $1.15 Storm, aka the third place Storm, taking on the fourth place Warriors at $5.60.
That's crazy.
Yeah, wow.
Crazy,
all of Warrior Nation sits there and scratching their head going, well, it's the Storm again. But Brook, you're first up. You get to choose who you're taking and why.
Go on now.
I don't want this one. Shaun, you do it.
Nah, go on now. Come on now. You got to take a pick. And I just know how many of the boys watch this show. So this is the best.
Boys, if you are watching this, I want you to know that for me, now it's a win-win.
Foot in each camp again.
Because I'm gonna go with the Storm. So if the Storm win, then I win. But if you win, then I win as well. Oh God, it's a win-win for me. I'll take the Storm.
Is it Brook with a foot in both camps?
I'll take the Storm.
He's the biggest pussy on the internet, Brook. Seriously. I don't know how you've made it in this thing. You just sit
so
on the
offensive.
fence constantly.
Honestly, when Shaun says that to me, that means that hurts.
Yeah, it should, because you've got to stop sitting on the fence and have a crack. Commit wholeheartedly, mate.
So like I said, I'll take the Storm, because then it's a win for me. But if the Warriors win, obviously that's a win for me as well. So, yeah, we'll take the Storm.
And everyone blowing up at the odds, they're accurate.
Are they?
Damn. You know how hard it is to go to Melbourne and beat the Storm?
No.
You know how hard it is to beat the Storm anywhere, actually? I don't think we've beaten them in the last 10 years, for a matter of fact. So why would the odds not be like that?
You would know.
Okay, and Melbourne is a beautiful place to go for a challenge, but when the Storm have the players that they've got and the positions they've got, I am not surprised by those odds. Don't look at the table. Don't look at the 3v4 or what it is. Like, it's too early in the season to sort of take position on the table as a form guide. Like, that's the honest truth. So, hey, I'll back the Warriors all day. Storm are going to get it this Sunday. Watch it. We're about to break it.
Yeah.
I'm with them all day.
That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. All right, let's go through the matchups just once more in case you missed them. So, sports matchup number 1, we've got the Masters, and it's Team TaylorMade or not. Shaun is backing Team TaylorMade. Well, it was gifted to him by Brooke, who then wanted to take it back. We go to matchup number 2, and it's Super Rugby. The Blues taking on Moana Pacifica, and Brooke, you've gone with the Blues on this. Oh, no, so Shaun, you've gone with the Blues. Is that right? Yes.
No.
Yes. No, you've gone, yes. No, I'm all confused now because of that pass back. How did we go in matchup number 2?
Sean's got Blues.
Shaun, you've got Blues.
And I've got Blues.
Yeah,
women.
I picked it.
That's right. And then we go into Super Rugby Opiki finals, and that was a Brooke take, and he's gone with Blues women to beat Matatu in the finals.
Come on, Katie.
We go to matchup number 4, UFC 314, and it is Alexander Volkanovski who needs to win for Shaun to get the points. That was his pick. And finally, in matchup number 5, NRL, Sunday, 4 p.m., it is the mighty 1NZ Warriors at $5.60 who need to lose for Brooke to get the points because he took the Storm.
Play on.
All right, time for a little Can We Talk. Things that are on our mind when it comes to anything going sporting. It could be anything other than sporting as well, but I would like to start where we finished off with our matchups, and it is the feeling of a Warriors fan, a Warriors tragic, taking on the mighty Melbourne Storm in Melbourne. You know what, in general, taking them on anywhere. For some reason, it takes me to a really dark place when we play the Melbourne Storm. Any other squad, any other team, I just don't care. Like I'm enthused, I'm excited, but there is something about that purple strip turning on up and us and me as a fan going, oh God, it's the Melbourne Storm. Like, they are to me our biggest nemesis in the NRL. They always will be, and no matter how many wins we got over them or get over them, I don't see it ever changing. What is it with us Warriors fans? And I'm putting us all in a bucket here. What is it about the Melbourne Storm and the fear of having to play them, and why do we feel it so heavily as just the fans as well?
Well, I mean, can I give you a bit of perspective on what it's like from the other side? Because I don't.
Absolutely.
This will be my first time experiencing it as a fan, right?
Yes.
So, I think it stems back to the times we have beaten them. They've been in big games, like some of the biggest games of the season. You know, like you think of elimination finals or prelim finals in 2008, again in 2011. A couple of like nights that a lot of people won't ever forget. They're against Melbourne, you know. And then there's nights like we had out at Mount Smart in 2015 or whatever, and it was like just an unreal night where we scored tries that Nathan Friend, remember, over the back through the
that
legs.
was one of the craziest tries ever.
There's core memories that are associated to Melbourne, and when they're so dominant outside of playing the Warriors, so they're always finishing up the top of the table. Anytime you get to play a team up the top of the table, like as players, you build it up. You know, it's like, man, there's no chance these guys are beating themselves this weekend. Like, to go to Melbourne for the boys this weekend, all the focus, they'll do their detail, they'll do their video on Melbourne, but all their talk will be about how they show up, how the Warriors, how we're going to show up. Because all the game planning in the world won't mean jack unless they show up this weekend with the right intent and attitude. And that's what they've displayed the first few rounds. So that's what makes this weekend's game probably even more exciting than previous years. Like, we've got a Warriors team rolling in there, generally built their first 4 rounds, or in particular their last 3 games, off intent and that sort of like, we've got each other's backs mentality. Nothing perfect, gritty wins, like you've spoken about, Matua, like gritty wins. So they're in a beautiful place to go down there and do something that will hopefully deliver this feeling and anxiety that we do have around playing them, you know?
Yeah, I feel like, again, this is purely from a fan perspective, but there is something about Melbourne Storm, no matter how we turn up or what kind of wins we've had in the past, it doesn't matter. It's Melbourne. That's where the block comes for me. I'm like, it's Melbourne. They're going to do something. Like, we can't beat them on grit alone. we can't beat them when we're being flashy and it's all over the place. Like, that is where my head sits. And I feel like there's probably a few people who went through Super Rugby when the Crusaders were so dominant. Like, it doesn't matter what you throw at the Crusaders, they're always going to be able to turn it on you. What is it about Melbourne Storm, this team in particular? Because I remember last year, Jerome Hughes turned up with a whole lot of no-namers. Like, and this is no disrespect to the squad, but they were so injury-ridden. And he just moved them around the park, and they beat us again. And I was like, what is it? Why Melbourne? But what is it this year that, like, how would you turn up with what you've seen in our previous wins, which are grit? They are arm wrestles that we've hung in there. It just feels like you don't get into an arm wrestle with Melbourne. Melbourne just blow you off the park. Or I don't know how we go in there and we win with what we've had in the backpack.
Boys, when did Xavier Coates score that try in the last minute? Was that last year?
That was last year as well.
Was that last year?
Yeah, in the corner. Wasn't
was
that
the
like
first
game
matchup.
1 or 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was early in the season,
Yeah,
right? So,
Yes.
so
You were there, weren't you? Were you right on the wing next to it?
Yeah, I was the one covering. So
Yeah.
like Dal, he just got to Dal's outside. But like what I'm trying to say here is that we played an unreal brand of footy that day.
You
Like,
did.
I'm just trying to piece together what you've said, Martel, where it's like grit and skill, execution. So I feel like that night, man, we pieced together. That second half was like
Amazing.
as good a footy as we've ever played. Yeah, we went into halftime a little bit, I think maybe a try or two down, but second half came out and just executed everything we'd spoken about doing all week, right? And we got the feeling of like, holy crap, like it's good enough to beat these sides. You know, so like the confidence I feel like is there because they've still got the core. They've got the core of feeling that sort of moment. That they're not walking into something they don't know. You know, like boys, I've got a feeling, man. I don't know. I generally have a feeling that you're using the things that you've had go well for you the last couple of years. You know, against a side that's just ridiculously talented. Like, let's not sugarcoat that. But if there's a team that's going to go down there and just do it, why can't it? Why can't it be this weekend? Like, let's park that anxiety, Martel. Come on.
It's not something. It's like a subconscious thing now. At this stage in my fanhood with the Warriors, it's a subconscious thing that it's just this purple cloud. Anytime a person walks past me in purple, I'm like, like it.
What's your make of it, bro? What do you reckon?
I'm looking at their squad. Like, I was just looking at their squad, and they have such a good squad, and they keep producing. Like, just for example, Moses Leo, who played his debut game last week as a Kiwi, who was a part of the Sevens, New Zealand Sevens team for years, he was outstanding. Like, okay, maybe I was watching from like a friend's point of view because I've known him for so long, and kind of everything he did, I was like, wow, he made a tackle. And I know he probably just did his role, but to come in and just fit seamlessly into the Melbourne Storm, showed his pace at times, showed he could cover on tackles, but didn't seem out of the realm of how good the Melbourne Storm are. I was like, they just know how to find players and how to fit into a product that is Melbourne Storm. And you know, week in and week out, like, yeah, they're playing the Warriors this week, but they're going to be good again next week. And they're going to be good again the week after that. And so they have a product that they can rest their laurels on and go, we're going to be in the fight every week. And so and sometimes it's not even a fight. We're going to knock you out in the second round, and we're just going to keep running with it, and we'll put 60 on you.
Yeah.
So I think they're a scary product.
Before.
Yeah, they're a scary product when and I was just looking at their squad again, and they have so many Kiwis in their squad, who I would imagine this week are going to be like, wow, that's a game that we asterisk.
Yeah.
You know, Jerome, okay,
Don't
that's
be
a
an
game I
egg this
asterisk.
week, Jerome. Don't be an egg. Just.
Yeah, Jerome, take it easy, man.
Just
Take
chill
it
this week,
easy.
bro.
Yeah. Just
Like,
Chill. Come on, man.
You got Nelson back. You know, like, they got a squad, bro. They got a squad.
Yeah.
But
I think in all of this, I just want all Warriors fans to know that we are not alone, that we all feel this purple cloud come over us, and we're like,
yeah, Warriors won 3 straight, though.
I know, and this is
We
great.
got a rhythm.
Further, what you said before, Sean, like you were like, we were doing things really well in that first game against the Melbourne Storm last week. Last year, but they still scored that last try, which then you know, we're all feeling as a fan base like, oh, this is it. We've got the recipe to beat Melbourne, and then no.
I don't think this game is about the recipe to beat Melbourne. I think this game is about a gut check for how the season can go. This is a test.
Good call.
This is like, okay, we can hang with the big boys. Like, we can go to work. Or, shit, we got some work to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think outside of, don't get me wrong, we love playing Melbourne. I think this is a good indication of how this year could go for us.
Ooh, I like that.
That's a good way of looking at it. That makes me way less nervous. I like that.
Yeah, come on, man. All right, I would just like to talk about, because I think this is like write a movie, Hollywood type of a storyline that's going on at the NBA at the moment. Like this should be a reality series. They should do something with this. Michael Malone, guys, was the coach of the Denver Nuggets. He was the coach of the Denver Nuggets, and they are 3 or 4 games away from making it into the playoffs, and they just fired him. They fired him and the GM. So for context, ladies or guys, this would be like it was your partner's birthday in 3 or 4 days, and you didn't want to buy her anything, so you broke up with her. This is exactly what's just happened. They'd be like, wow, we had a good run. We're engaged at the moment. They got a chip, so that's like you're engaged. And 3 or 4 days out before the biggest part of the NBA season, they let go of their coach. And the coach and the GM apparently were fighting, and so they let go of both of them.
Wow.
Which is catastrophic at this time of the year. But I just think this is the most amazing storyline. The drama that is in the NBA is second to none. And then I looked like a little bit deeper, and I was like, okay, what's the plays here? And I couldn't really find anything. Then I was watching Nikola Jokic. Now, what I'm about to say, some people, I'm going to say it, and then I'm going to give you 3 or 4 seconds to just let it sit, marinate in it, and then we can talk a little bit longer. I think Nikola Jokic is the greatest center of all time. Yes, I said it. The resume is longer than your receipt at New World. And it's just getting started. This man is changing the game of basketball. He can't jump. And he has 60, 20, and 20. That, like, if he was around, if he was around 30 years ago, this isn't a conversation. If he was here before Shaq and Kareem and everything, we're not even having this chat. But to me, Nikola Jokic, sorry, Marc, I'm a product of a product of the time, a prisoner of the moment. I've said that before. You kind of grew up with like the Shaq, and so did I, but like the Kareem, Wilt maybe era. You're not that old, but like more so than me. So you'd have a better understanding of how important they were. But man, I gotta say it, bro. I think Nikola Jokic is the greatest center of all time.
You know what? I just quickly, Sean, before you jump on top of him, I feel like...
Hey, Sean won't be jumping on top of me, I'll tell you that much.
I feel like what you've said, I think Jokic is probably one of the few players in any sport that would fit in no matter what era he was playing. And it's because he doesn't have the athleticism of some of the other components that are part of this conversation. So if you rely purely on athleticism, then you start throwing them into the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s and going, well, the rulings were different back then. You would get bumped down, you wouldn't be as athletic, there was way more contact. So there's an argument to be made here. I actually think you may be right, because Jokic is probably one of the players who could have played in any of the decades and still have distributed the ball, still have shot the three, still have been able to rebound like he does, even with all that contact, because he's a big, solid body who takes contact, who still distributes, who still scores, who still does everything you want him to do, and he puts up triple doubles on a regular, right? Like, you're surprised. We were talking about how great Melbourne Storm are regularly. You're actually surprised when Jokic doesn't come out of a game with a triple double. And no matter what it is, whatever rules they put in front of him, even in the international game, he's dominant. So I get the feel, like Brook, I think in years to come, he's probably got a few more seasons in him, but in years to come, this will be a conversation that people will pick up on.
But there's a crazy stat at the moment that this year alone, he's averaging more assists than Chris Paul in Chris Paul's greatest assist year.
See, that's ridiculous.
Like the best year that Chris Paul ever had in assists or whatever it was, he's currently averaging more than that in this 1 year. He's averaging more rebounds in this 1 year than Tim Duncan's greatest rebounding career, rebounding season.
See, and these are greats of the game. These are really good players of the game who solely focus basically on those aspects, but he's doing it as a side spec to his point scoring, which is right up there as well.
Oh, and he don't even like basketball.
Maybe that's the key.
I get to my horse. I win.
I'm just going to be real careful here, because I don't really even want to address Brook's absurd comments about Nikola Jokic being the greatest center of all time. All I'll say on that, he hasn't got a big enough body of work to be that right now. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. But I want to get back to the original point.
3-time MVP.
The original point, because I'm not sure how him saying that about Nicola actually ties into the point around the drama saga of Denver and firing the coach. So can I just touch on that quickly? Because that to me is absurd, and maybe you two boys can offer a little bit more insight. But boys, when I lost a coach or a coach got fired throughout my career, which happened a few times, it has a bigger impact on the group than you probably could ever imagine. Now, I had John Morris, one in particular, right, that had taken us to the finals the previous 2 seasons at Cronulla, all right? And before we were about to play round 1, he got fired at Cronulla, okay? Or it might have even been just after. It was, anyway. But the impact of that, for them to sort of, I remember they sort of fired John Morris and said, now go out and win, you know? And it's like, or it was something along the lines. And I just remember being like, what? Like, how can you expect that to happen when you've got a guy that we walk in every day is the first person that addresses us, you know, like you've got relationships built, you've got an understanding on how things work, you know? So when I heard that Malone got fired, bro, I was like, how do they come to that decision when you're on the brink of playing finals, like, and a locker room, like the only way I could sort of fathom it or comprehend it, let me just say this, was that he had wholeheartedly lost the locker room.
Well, yeah, that was mine too. And from all accounts and all the searching I've done, he hadn't. So what happened was him and the GM were fighting. The GM wanted to play younger players to close out the games. Mike Malone wanted to play like the Russell Westbrooks, the seasoned vets. So he would like to close out the games with those guys. They were conflicting. And for whatever reason, they felt like we can't get rid of one and not the other. So the overall board of the Denver Nuggets went 3 games before playoffs, which in the NBA isn't 3 weeks. 3 games is NBA playoffs are next week. We're sitting 4th in the West right now with the greatest player in the world, Nikola Jokic, with a chance to win it. And we're going to change everything.
Because did you boys see that interview he did post-game? I think it was after they got blown out by the Lakers or whoever it was.
The Blazers.
And he literally came out and said, I told them exactly what they needed to hear type vibe.
Yeah. And they're not going to go back and watch it, or they're not going to. Yes, I did see that.
They're not going to go study film, so I'm going to have to show them. You know, like just accountability, really driving. So when I was hearing that, I was just like, bro, this guy's the man. Like, how, like as an athlete, like you want that raw and honest conversation from your coach when you're out of pocket, you know. But then he gets fired a couple of days, literally after that. I was just like, what is actually doing, bro? Like, it's actually absurd. I just don't understand it. I don't know how it can happen. And you're right, the NBA, like that could literally be a reality TV show.
Okay, I know we've dragged this out, but let me have one last thing, because I want to put this on record that I could see it happening. I've got my crystal ball here.
Just another one over the top of Jokic being the greatest center who ever played the game. You want another?
Another one. I think that Nikola Jokic could end up with the Lakers next year. I think
LeBron's
that
taking less money. LeBron's going to negotiate, take less money. So they're going to clear some space.
LeBron will win too. But where do you want to grow the NBA at the moment? It's not in America because it's big. You want to grow it in Europe. And getting Luka as the face of it, it's growing in Europe already. You get the other best player and you chuck him right there. And they've got 8 good years to grow the league out from LA. Man, the writing's on the wall. I wouldn't be surprised, man. Jokic to the Lakers. Hey, would you have ever said that Luka would be with the Lakers?
That's a poor argument.
I would have said maybe one of them could be, but not both of them.
Mate, hey. That's all we need to say about this, but it's
okay,
put on the record.
Can I lighten it a little bit, guys? Can I bring my thing? Do we still have time for that? Or is the show run well and truly over after that ramble?
Go for it, Shaun.
Okay, so, guys, I interviewed someone today. Like, someone I feel like it's worth playing a little game with you about to see if you can guess who it was.
Oh, okay.
Like, sort of like 21 questions, but I'm not going to give you 21 chances. So we're going to cull it right back because you asked the right questions. You should be able to arrive at the answer. And hopefully it gives you a bit of like, no way, did you do that? I'm like, yeah, bro, you know, hopefully. Because I feel like I got a bit of a buzz out of meeting this guy, and it was really cool to sit down and have a yarn.
Okay, so we know it's a guy. My first question was going to be woman or male or female.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that for free. All right, you've got 7 chances because
7 chances. Brooke, please. Let's.
So we're doing it together as a team. We're doing
seven. No.
Seven's
seven. You can't take the card back off the table. Like, okay.
No, that's fair. Go on then.
So, Brooke, we need to work this out. We need to go.
It's a male.
Yeah, it's a male.
What do we do next? The sport?
We work out whether it's an athlete who plays with like a round ball or
Hold on. Is it an athlete?
As an athlete, that's a good start.
Is it an athlete?
Sean, is it an athlete?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's one. We're on the board. Okay, well, that's a good question, though.
Yeah.
Because we could have been 6 down and be like...
He's in
not that-
Miami at the moment, so it must be a Miami. I wonder if it's a Miami.
Nah, but anyone can be in Miami.
That's what I mean,
It's the
yeah.
party capital. Okay. Do we try and get the sport? Nah, because there's so many sports.
There's too many sports. I feel like
Retired?
that's putting it down. Retired playing? Yep, that's a good.
Retired or playing?
Yep.
Or is that a further down the line one?
Well, we know where we're headed straight away. It's
Okay,
a
okay.
direction one. Okay, is it a retired athlete or a currently playing athlete?
Retired.
Retired, okay.
That's a good question. Then.
Okay.
That was a good question. Does he play a ball sport?
You go.
There's so many ball sports, but if he doesn't,
Doesn't
then
narrow it
it's
down
like
as much.
boxing or UFC.
Well, he would have been in a UFC vicinity, so it's either a fighter or a non-fighting athlete that he's focused on. But I reckon there's a question that we could ask that would actually narrow it
Yeah,
down
yeah,
more.
okay.
Which, you know,
Remember, the show's already going for a long time, so just try hurry this up.
You got it, Mark. You go next question, I'll go one after that.
is the athlete over 181 centimeters tall?
No.
No.
Oh, he's short. Okay, you've done well
okay,
then.
Okay. Sorry, the height thing is important for me to gauge where we're looking.
That's crazy. You're a dog, man.
So it's a guy who's shorter, not short, but shorter. So we're thinking it can't be an NBA athlete, wouldn't it be? So we can rule that sport out completely.
Well, yeah, because I thought it might be a basketballer. I thought he'd be excited to tell us
Yeah.
about a basketballer that he, I got one over years.
I wonder if it's a golfer. He loves golf.
Would we know him a golfer?
Football?
Wait, hold on. Do we go ball sport?
Ball? Go. Ask the question.
Is it a ball sport? Does he play a ball
No.
sport? Okay, there we go.
Okay.
That was a good question.
That's
now.
a real good
That was
question.
a good question.
Now
Okay.
we know they use their hands.
I hope our listeners listen to this in the car.
Oh, they're
wherever
helping.
They are on the way home from work.
They're listening to these clues going,
We're
They're
going
playing
longer than
along.
7 if we
Come
don't
on.
get it in 7, by the way. We're
Yeah.
getting this.
we're getting this.
That's 5.
That's 5. Yeah, we've got 2 left.
It's UFC or boxing.
It's UFC or boxing.
Uh,
Is it UFC or boxing?
No, don't ask that.
Okay.
That's
No.
the question. You
He's
can't
asking
take the
me.
card off
He
the
was
table.
asking me. He
No,
just didn't say my
that
name.
was a question.
He didn't say
and
Brooks.
The answer to that
It
is
says yes. See, Sean.
I said all boxing. Like, is it those? Which one? Is it UFC or boxing?
No, it's a yes or no.
He was talking to me.
No.
So I'll ask the question. Ask
Okay.
the question. Is it UFC?
No, you can't remove the card. But luckily, you guys can't count, and I'm an honest man, so that's your 5th question. You got 2 left.
Okay.
Is it UFC?
Were they famous for the UFC, like being a
Yes.
fighter in the UFC? Okay.
Yes. So you got 1 question left.
Oh, he said it in a way that's probably a boxer now. Like he's gone to boxing.
That's a good point.
No, he's like, yeah.
Oh no, because he said no. Oh yes.
Yeah, because he got famous because I reckon it's a fighter who used to be in the UFC who's now he got famous from being in the UFC, but now is boxing. His dancing just annoys me so much.
Oh, he was catching up with Jorge Masvidal. Is it Masvidal?
Is it Jorge Masvidal?
Yes, it is.
Game breed.
Boys, I interviewed Jorge Masvidal today.
How was that? Is he dope?
Oh, he's the man, bro. Like one of the realest humans ever. Hearing his story, so I'm doing it with. So there's Nico, who sort of is the UFC analyst that's here for them properly. I'm here to add a little bit of color, right? So I'm sort of either side. So Nico's there, I'm there, Jorge's in the middle, and Nico establishes like sort of throughout the interview that I'm a former athlete too, type thing. And I was like, sort of playing it off. But then once he did that, Jorge sort of like looked at me a little bit different, like was sort of like relating to me a bit, I felt. So what was really cool, what I took out of it, which was amazing, was hearing the things that he valued in his sport and his career. Like we all valued the same stuff, like it was just really cool to hear. Like an example, like the byproduct of being him and the influence that had on some of like some people going through struggles or hard times, or, like, and how he inspired them without even realizing he was doing it. Like, that just instantly was like, man, like that's a big buzz that I always got out of my career. Like the stuff I'll do in the weekend, how that would make someone feel during the week, and maybe put a smile on their face if they're dealing with something. So it was like so many elements of his story that I could relate to. Real likable guy, obviously one of the baddest to do it. His story on where he started in the streets and the backyards with Kimbo.
Slice, baby.
Slice, right? So like, just a real cool chat, and again, like a pinch myself moment that I was just like. And then he invited me to some party on Friday night. He wants me to go party with him.
You're
don't
going.
go to that.
Right?
Sean,
You
you're
don't know
going.
Sean.
Fine if I have to.
Sean,
Don't
you're going.
go.
You're going,
Don't.
mate.
Devil on your shoulder,
Sean.
angel on your shoulder. Which one are you listening to? You're not going to a Masvidal
I'm
party.
going with the devil.
Come on, baby. Look, we live for memories that we won't forget.
We'll
Actually,
never
I'm
see
going
Sean
to talk
again.
to Kayla first and just clear that.
Yeah,
So,
hey, just
well,
really quickly,
maybe-
Sean, I take him as one of those athletes that it's not about throwing out one-liners, that it's not about, there's a genuine listening. I'll sit down and hear what you have to say and give you a genuine answer from my soul back to you, which is rare when you're talking to an athlete necessarily, because they like feel like it's part of their job at times and they're just going to reel off answers.
Nah,
They're like game breeders.
he's very much authentically himself.
Hmm.
He's not molded or confined to sit up proper and give you a cliche answer.
Yeah.
He was very much like lax in the seat to the point where he yawned a few times because he was so comfy.
That's a vibe, though.
Like, bro was
Comfy
probably
Paul.
smoking a couple of puffs of the Barrier Reef in the car on the way out. But like, he was just so chilled, and that was the tone of the interview. And I loved that he was yawning. I was like, bro feels relaxed. Like, that's what we want. We don't want the intense stiff. Like, we want to know you. And he was just him as he's been his whole career, which was just really cool to see. And one of the cooler memories I think I'll be holding on to for a long time.
Wonderful.
I ain't gonna lie to you, brother. I'm jealous. A very few things you do, I'm genuinely jealous. That's pretty cool.
Jorge Masvidal, boys.
Crack.
Gang
I'll
bread,
post a
baby.
pic on my Instagram.
Do
I'll
it.
make
I'll
it
give you the
Instagram
2-tap,
official.
my boy. I'll give you the 2-tap, my bad.
Beautiful. All right. Well, Sean, I
Hey,
don't
are
know
you-
when you get back. Are you coming back to the country anytime soon, or are you going to be in studio for our next
Boys,
show?
by the next time we do the show, when we do our review show, we'll be all back together. I can't wait.
Shama. Hey, are you going to? What are you doing tonight? You
You
were going to maybe watch Messi.
Yeah, nah. So we were hunting for Messi tickets. It was a little bit of that like LeBron sort of moment, I was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
man, how cool would it be to watch Messi in the flesh? But then obviously the show comes first, and his game's actually an hour down the road. Would it take more like an hour and a half? So it's not here in Miami,
Oh, right.
which is where we thought it originally was. And the show takes priority, boys. So my co-host, well, the guy who's been doing all the interviews with me, he shot off to go watch it. So I'm excited to hear hear his stories. But yeah, here we are.
You're
The
a
show's
good
more
man,
important,
man.
boys.
You're a good man. Well, enjoy 314, baby.
Totally, my man. You've got Masvidal off the list now. The things you've achieved. We're looking forward to hearing more stories next week. For everybody else, enjoy your weekend of sport. We can't wait to see how it all goes, and we'll see how those Betcha Match Ups end up come Tuesday next week.
Let's go, the Warriors!
Up the
Go, the
last.
Warriors!
Lamborghini. Look at the speed! Shaun Johnson! Aguero! It's over! Pass is intercepted at the goal line. In your life have you seen anything like that? Elliott, that's it for the grand slam! And New Zealand are in the World Cup final! Play on.